Hey everybody, this is Jess Birken with Birken Law Office. We are here to talk about nonprofit insurance needs throughout the nonprofit life cycle. And today I am joined by the wonderful Tom Wertish of Novallus Insurance.
Thanks for having me,
Yeah,
Jess.
we're going to talk about an interesting insurance thing, I think. It's not necessarily something that most of my clients are probably thinking about, but if you, at your nonprofit, decide that having a vehicle is essential to your mission delivery somehow, or you need to have a company vehicle to do something, you're going to need insurance on that vehicle. And what kind of insurance will they need?
You're going to need a commercial auto policy. I think you see people kind of default to, I might just try and just add this in my personal policy. I've seen that a lot. I just got this.
That's exactly where my brain
Right?
went. I was like, so do that, and don't just put it on your personal car insurance.
Wrong. Yeah.
Red
But-
buzzer. Boop.
Right, exactly. So, we're talking about the church van or the puppy rescue van or the soup kitchen van or, the pickup that loads up, I don't know, debris from cleanup of neighborhoods or something like that.
Yeah, or takes your youth group around on a trip,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah. And so if it's owned by the nonprofit, it needs a commercial auto policy. And just like a personal auto policy, but if it's in the name of the nonprofit, then we have to think about who's driving it, what are they doing with it, how far are they going with it, and then, we'll pull their records and make sure that they're, okay drivers and that sort of thing, and figure out how far they're going, because if your mission is to, deliver goods to San Diego, California, or Miami, Florida from Minneapolis, be rated a little bit differently than if you're just driving around town, as needed. So some of the things to think about. Also, to be considered is if you have vehicles that you hired for your mission or vehicles that you don't own that people are driving on behalf of your mission, you have hired and non-owned auto coverage.
Okay, so that sounds complicated. So hired meaning like you're renting cars?
Right, yeah.
But those would be covered by like the Hertz and Alamo insurance, yes?
If you selected their insurance, possibly. But if it's in the name of a business, because the lawyers will name everybody, right? They're going to name the nonprofit because Jess was driving, this Hertz car on the puppy rescue. Oh, well, we can name, Jess's puppy rescue as someone that could pay out, something like that. So that's hired auto.
And this also applies to if you have staff or volunteers driving for you on some kind of regular basis.
So let's say you send me to go get some puppy food for the puppy rescue, and I'm driving my vehicle, which is not owned by the nonprofit. That's a non-owned vehicle, but I'm working on behalf of the nonprofit, driving my vehicle.
Or the church pastor who is visiting congregants who are maybe sick and in the hospital, or the puppy rescue is doing foster placements, driving around for the nonprofit.
I might take my personal vehicle, but I'm really acting on behalf of the nonprofit. So as a non-owned auto, there's a liability exposure there for the nonprofit.
Okay.
So that's different than commercial auto insurance, but it's definitely something to consider when you don't own a vehicle, just to make sure you have those exposures covered. Typically, we can cover them pretty inexpensively as part of the different packages that are out there.
And that's important because it comes up how?
Yeah, like let's say I got in an accident while I'm getting the puppy food for the puppy rescue, and I, injured someone or killed someone. Well, their insurance company is going to name my personal auto policy. My personal auto policy is going to take a statement and say, what were you doing? I'm going to say, well, I was just getting this dog food for the puppy rescue. Oh, well, you were acting on behalf of the puppy rescue.
XYZ deep pocket. Little do they know your pocket's not that deep.
Right.
But they're thinking, hey, corporation we can name in our lawsuit.
Name them all. Yep. So,
okay.
Progressive or Nationwide Insurance is going to say, okay, nonprofits insurance, you're part of this too, whether you like it or not, because he was going to get this for the mission of the business. So something to definitely consider. And just really have a good conversation about what's going on with these vehicles, whether they're owned by the nonprofit or if people are using their personal vehicles on behalf of it.
Okay.
Because there's different rules when you're operating a commercial vehicle versus a personal vehicle for transportation and monitoring of your safety.
Okay, right on. So, long story short, if you start using a vehicle for your mission delivery or you're buying a vehicle for your mission delivery, you need to make sure you get insurance on it. And I would just throw in a quick caveat that if you're doing stuff like moving people or materials with a company vehicle, there's also another layer of legal compliance that's usually DOT, Department of Transportation, that you may have to register with the DOT, and that's a whole other process and a whole other video. But just want to put it on your radar as it's a thing.
Yeah, definitely something to talk through with your insurance provider to make sure that you're following the laws, because if we want to, we need to make sure we follow the rules, right?
Right. Ideally, that's what we like to do.
Yeah, we try to do that.
Okay, well, cool. Well, I don't think there's anything else on that one.
No, I don't think so. I think definitely just make sure you have a good conversation about what you're doing with your vehicle and talk to someone you trust.